Welcome. It is Sunday, April the 27th, 2025. Today I will be headed back to the Rosenberg Railroad Museum. They are having their Magic in Motion. It's a Harry Potter theme. They're also going to have their Hogwarts Express out in the Garden Railroad. So, yeah, it should be magical. So, join me if you will. It's good to have you here. Will you? So since today is Sunday, they are open from 1 to 4. I always like looking at the live footage of the trains outside on this TV screen. Yeah, I've been to this railroad museum quite a few times over the years. Always love coming here. There's always so much to look at when you come here. I don't think I take it all in at one time. Always discover something new every time I come here. Got my wristband. She said the next tour starts at 2:05. It is currently 1:35, so 30 more minutes. So these are all the different signals. That's the stop signal, the proceed signal, the back signal, train has parted signal, apply air brakes, and release air brakes. There's the trains outside. Those are some of the new trains they added recently. This is the ticket cabinet, 1910. They got this old telephone. This is a electric washing machine. And they have this replica of this train that they took President George Bush on for his funeral. Order your coal now. Get it out of Uncle Sam's way. He needs the railroads for the war. William H. Harrison was the first presidential candidate to use a train when he ran for office unsuccessfully in 1836. they put in grass since the last time I was here. Santa Fe, Clipper, Swift, not Taylor. There's another one. So where is the Hogwarts Express? And they got the real trains going by. So they've had the red caboose here for a long time, but these two are new right here. HB&T. Now I've been inside the red caboose before, but I'm wondering if they're going to let us go in this train right here. This is a new train. The last time I was here, they had it blocked off. There's a sign on here. This exhibit is under construction. Keep out. Keep off roof, no running board. So that's pretty cool. They started adding more trains here. And they got the Amtrak trains down the way there. And the old Tower 17. I guess I'll hang around and take the tour. I've taken it before. Fun activities this way. And they got Thomas the Train over here next to the Quebec. Hanging out in the shade. I don't blame you. It is quite warm today. So yep, that's the Hogwarts Express right there. Going around the Fort Bend County building. This dude over here kind of looks like the Fonz. Hey, you're a wizard, Harry. That's the old alligator.
The reason why we chose the 1950s over any other time period is that's because that's when the transition era from steam locomotive power to diesel locomotive power was still happening here in the States. So that way we can run both sets of locomotives here on a layout at the exact same time. But this whole entire town they actually see right here in front of us today is a depiction of downtown Rosenberg, this same exact town that we are in right now. Now on this layout, there are actually quite a few buildings that still stand to this day, and that we can actually still see from our location. One of those buildings being this greenhouse here with the red roof. This is actually known as the Eval House, and it was one of the very first brick houses built here to Rosenberg, and it still stands directly behind us over there on the corner. It is no longer a residence, it is now more so an event center for private events. Now you can rent out that building for any party. Is this red brick building here that says another time on top. Now back then in the 1950s, this building did not say another time on top, and it was referred to as a soda fountain and a pharmacy. But today is now a cafe, and is directly across the street here from our location.
No.
Now the two rail lines that ran through here back in the 1950s were once known as the Santa Fe and the Southern Pacific. Neither of those companies actually no longer exist today, and they've either been bought out or they merged with other companies to create bigger and larger companies as freight demands got higher and higher. But the four rail lines that we constantly see running through Rosenberg today are now known today as BNSF, Union Pacific, CPKC, and we get a daily Amtrak just about once a day here through Rosenberg. Trains were the way to travel. But in the 1970s, the government actually came up with an idea to make a rail line specifically for passenger travel services, and they came up with the rail line known as Amtrak. Amtrak came along in the 1970s and they said, you know what, we're just going to go ahead and grab all these rail line passenger travel services, and we those guys can focus on the more important thing, which is freight. So the Amtrak got both the Sunset Limited and the Texas Chief that ran through here at one point. The Sunset Limited does still run through Rosenberg, but they actually no longer stop here. In fact, Amtrak actually stopped stopping here in Rosenberg in 1982, and Amtrak's reason for not stopping here anymore is that no one lives in Rosenberg. So, it will come right over here to our drawbridge. So we'll just take off this lock, and we'll lower this bridge. This bridge actually has a piece of train track on it, so when we're ready, we are actually able to drive out our trains straight on out to the layout or back inside of our car barn. And so that makes it a lot easier on the staff and easier on our trains as well. A nickname given to this type of locomotive is called a switcher, because this locomotive is supposed to get where bigger six-axle locomotives couldn't get. Now, this locomotive was actually built when steam engines were still ruling the rails, and a lot of engineers were still used to looking around a big boiler of a steam engine with the cab on the back. So when they made this locomotive, they decided to put the cab on the back. That way the engineers still had that same feeling of looking around a big boiler, but instead of a boiler, you're now looking around an engine. We won't be able to go inside of this locomotive today because it is still under construction, and we actually just got these very recently, actually, from the Gulf Coast chapter. Each one of these pieces I actually see here on this track here behind me were actually donated about 6 weeks ago. So they're still brand new to us. Now connected here to our locomotive is actually our helium car. This helium car was actually built back in 1955 for the Department of Mines. And it would have actually transported helium from the Amarillo helium fields up in the panhandle of Texas to Cape Canaveral, where they would have done all the space launches, and actually trains were one way. We actually won the space race and got us to the moon. Now, when this car is empty, this car actually weighs 242,000 pounds. Now, when you add helium, do we think the car is going to get lighter or heavier?
Heavier.
Heavier? Lighter? Alright, who thinks lighter? Raise your hand. Alright, who thinks heavier? Raise your hand. Alright, well, when this car is fully loaded, this car weighs actually 303,000 pounds. And it can hold about 60,000 pounds of compressed helium. Just think about how many balloons that could fill.
Enough to fill that museum and have some extra.
Oh, I'm sure. You could probably make that building float if you wanted to. We'll see. But we're going to do fun fact about this rail car. It would have actually taken about 30 to 40 of these rail cars to fill up one Saturn V rocket. And that was the same type of rocket that got us to the moon. So, our first train that we're going to be able to go inside of is our caboose. Now, this caboose was actually built back in 1972 for the Missouri Pacific, also referred to as Mopac. Now, Mopac is no longer their own rail line, and they were actually purchased by the Union Pacific in 1982. And that was actually the exact same year where this caboose got taken out of service. So imagine being 10 years old and you're already in a retirement home and you don't have to work anymore. That's pretty much what happened to this caboose. But that was not the end of this caboose's railroading career, and it actually went to serve as a shunting platform for Dow Chemical, where the conductor could have a nice platform to hold on to without having to hang on to the side of the rail car for very long periods at times.
Except for maybe the day they built it. And so maybe for the first couple of years.
You know, I was just thinking, it's not much of a Harry Potter theme today. I just saw that one Harry Potter figure in the Hogwarts train. But it is what it is. I always learn something different every time I come here. I didn't get on the caboose because I've been on it before, and it's a large group of people. Yeah, it's about 86 degrees out here. Quite warm.
Now, this museum has been here since 2002, and this tower was in service for 2 years when the museum was open. So the museum was notified when the tower was going to be taken out of service, so we assembled a team and we moved it here by a semi-truck pretty much. But when we head upstairs, nothing in there has changed at all. Now, there were originally 215 of these towers built all across the state of Texas, and this one right here was the 17th. Now, these type of towers were typically placed at wherever you would have two or more sets of tracks actually intersecting each other at a level plane, creating an interlock. Interlocks had a high tendency of train collisions back then, and that's when the Federal Railroad Administration actually stated that at least one of these towers has to be at an interlock per the state of Texas, and soon that rule followed for all the other following states as well. So.
I decided not to take the rest of the tour. I've seen it many times before. Plus, there was a large group of people. I've never seen that many people in a group before over here for a tour. But yeah, there's a lot of people, and the only thing new was those new trains he was showing. Otherwise, most of it is pretty much the same. Great Scott. So yeah, I've done several videos of this railroad museum before. If you want to see a more detailed tour of it, you can go back and check some of my older videos. But yeah, I was expecting more of a Harry Potter theme. Like I said, I just saw that one figure of Harry Potter in the train. That was it. Oh well, like I said, it is what it is. I'm old and fragile. Yep, me too. Alright, well that's going to do it for my video for today. As always, thank you for watching. Be safe, be kind, stay caffeinated.